Medical marijuana made easy. See if you pre-qualify for your Florida medical marijuana card free of charge, 100% risk, obligation, and judgment-free with Fast Track Cannabis Clinics of America. You're talking Champa Bay's #1 choice for compassionate care with business professionals. Discreetly begin your road to relief by dialing 813-358-CARD or visit www.mycannabiscard.com. That's 813-358-2273. And make sure to tell them that Al Keck sent you for $30 off new patient enrollment. Ask about military and senior discounts. Fast Track Cannabis Clinics of America. Launch or scale your brand or business with Guerrilla Marketing Inc. and digitally dominate the competition. Right now, get a small business starter package. You're talking a custom logo, toll-free vanity number, equipped with a digital directory, 5-page website, and matching media page for $1,299. That's a $3,000 value. Visit GuerrillaMarketingInc.com or call 813-358-2273 to get started. With uncertainty at an all-time high, securing what matters most has never been more important for your home or your office. Prevent disaster and make life easier. Try a security and home automation system from Alarm Engineers, Inc., Tampa's trusted leader for more than 30 years. State-of-the-art security systems, award-winning monitoring, and now full-spectrum smart home solutions. Alarm Engineers, Inc. has everything your home and office could possibly need and will work with any budget. Book a free security or smart home consultation today. Call 813-948-4000. That's 813-948-4000 and get your first month free by telling them Al Keck sent you. Alarm Engineers, Inc. Sports media has evolved. Introducing NSPN, NexGen Sports, your #1 choice for total coverage of all team and combat sports. Up-to-the-minute breaking news, live shows with special guests, and unprecedented interactive sports content. Go like and follow NSPN NexGen Sports on Facebook for your chance to win an authentic, autographed Shaq Barrett Bucks jersey. That's valued at more than $1,000. Do it today. The winner will be picked live on May 18th on our NSPN NexGen Sports Facebook page. NexGen Sports.
Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49, live and exclusively on NSPN. Always, usually every Monday and Friday. We try to go with the offseason and the NBA playoffs, NHL, MLB. We could come on at any given time and talk about whatever it is because there's a lot of issues going on. And I can't go without saying that issues and problems and things going on, I cannot leave out my brother from another mother, a guy that needs no introduction, but I am going to give him an introduction, Alex the Flamethrower Fleming. And we're going to be on here talking about some issues going on in the NBA, Julio Jones, baseball, hockey, whatever's going on in all the leagues right now. And we're going to do that right here on Sports Stuff 49. As a matter of fact, I can't leave him in the lobby anymore because he drinks too much, and the lobby has a limit on alcohol given out at the bar. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him in right now. Alex, what's going on, brother?
Okay, let me finish this Crown Royal real quick. What is up, Mr. Anthony? Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh, absolutely. We got to do this more often. You know, I know your schedule and things was going on crazy in mine too. So this is going to be more of a normal going on. Especially, I like this this hour that we can do this at and get these issues ironed out and talk about these things.
Oh man, we got some things to talk about. You know, it's funny because I started with the NBA and then I branched to the NFL. And as you can see, I got Trevor Lawrence from minicamp. You know, I'd love for that to be Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, but for some odd reason, I just don't think they like me like that.
What are you trying to say? They don't want you in after you apply again and again? It's like you keep putting in applications over there. It's like DJ Khaled. Another one. You put in another application and you just don't get approved. But Jacksonville, unfortunately, fortunate for you, has let you into that camp.
I mean, my resume is pretty thick, and I think if Buffalo lets me write on them, and I'm allowed to cover the Miami Dolphins, and you already know I'm in like Flint with Jacksonville, maybe I'm just not shady enough for Tampa. I'm not quite sure what's wrong.
Who knows? But what we do know is you're right here with me, and we're going to iron out some of these issues going on. And speaking of issues, let's start with the first one, the NBA. Kyrie Irving in the water bottle. Let's pop this quick clip up here of KD and Kyrie talking about it. Then I'll let you jump right in and give it all you got, because I'm sure you got some issues. And some folks just can't handle the truth of situations and stuff that happen in life. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you can't handle the truth.
I mean, fans got to grow up at some point. I know that being in the house for a year and a half with the pandemic, got a lot of people on edge, got a lot of people stressed out. But when you come to these games, you got to realize, man, these men are human. You know, we not animals. We not in a circus. You coming to the game is not all about you as a fan. So have some respect for the game. Have some respect for these human beings, and have some respect for yourself. Your mother wouldn't be proud of you throwing water bottles at basketball players or spitting on players or tossing popcorn. So grow the fuck up and enjoy the game. You know, it's bigger than you.
People just feel very entitled out here. You know, they pay for the tickets, great. I'm grateful that they're coming in to watch a great performance, but it's just, you know, we're not at the theater. We're not throwing tomatoes and other random stuff at the people that are performing. You know, it's too much. And it's a reflection on, you know, us as a whole when you have fans acting like that.
We know how these people here are in Boston, and we know how passionate they are about Kyrie in particular. And they still upset at him. And that's no reason for them to act childish, but we don't need to speak on that. We know what it is already coming in here. Glad we got the W. Hopefully we don't got to come back here this year.
There you have it, Alex. Go for it.
All right, first and foremost, the idiot that threw that bottle, his name was Cole Buckley. I'm so glad that he had to go to court today because he's facing felony charges. Now, I'm not speaking to all America. I'm just going to speak to the bigoted white America. Yes, you, white America, that says that you shouldn't get a scholarship for a free education, and then in that same token don't want to raise the minimum wage. You, white America, who believes that there's no such thing as racism, but then want to say blue lives matter whenever we say black lives matter. That's a protest to the protest. You, white America, when you want to overreact and throw popcorn on an athlete who will probably whoop your ass in real time, but then want to have some sympathy and compassion whenever someone gets a felony charge against them for acting like an idiot after 3 prior warnings earlier in the week. I have no sympathy for Cole Buckley. I don't give a damn that he's white. And I damn sure don't give a damn that he's 21. You know what? He was wearing a Kevin Garnett jersey, and Kevin Garnett was starting to show a little bit of himself like Sammy Sosa. Stepping on the logo's not cool, bro. Kevin Garnett, stop. You went to Farragut Academy. You from the South. How many times have you stepped on that logo? And better yet, if you want to be idiot like that, Kevin Garnett, you know how Boston is. You know how Chi-Town brothers are. So don't give him that smoke. Yes, Kyrie is a diva. But when you're booing Kyrie in an NBA basketball court and you're booing Kyrie at a Boston Red Sox game and you change the chant from Yankee sucks to Kyrie sucks and then you're booing KD during warm-ups, I'm thinking it's a little bit personal, don't you think? Especially after Kyrie Irving done called you out earlier in the week, saying that Boston has a history of being racist, and then you just confirm it. Guess what, America? You are now being treated like we have been for 100 plus years. You're going to jail. You're facing charges. No one's going to save you anymore. This is not the zoo. And I'm sure if you threw something in the zoo, the monkey or the lion, if they ever got out of the cage, would tear you apart. Only way to hurt you guys is to expose you, because there's too many idiots who think the same way, hence January 6th in the Capitol building. So now that you're getting exposed, I think it's long overdue that just because you buy a ticket doesn't give you the right to act like an idiot. You've been warned.
Well said, Alex. Well said. That's why I had to bring you on here and let you put it out there in such a persuasive way. You're right. Everybody wanted to use the words this year of accountability, and here you are as another example of accountability. If you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. This prize cost this man a felony record, lifetime ban. Who knows what else that'll cost him later on in the line if he wants to get a job somewhere and things like that over something stupid as throwing a water bottle at a guy you're mad at because he no longer plays for your team. That's pretty much what it boils down to, because words aren't against the law, but throwing objects and projectiles and trying to harm another person over that is. And then you said it greatly that things are switching around now. These players aren't treated as you said, animals in a zoo. You throw stuff at them and you have no repercussions. There's repercussions now, and I think Stephen A. Smith said it best. You're ostracized now. Your face and your mugshot is on the TV now with cameras everywhere in the stadium, and everybody can see the idiot that's doing that. And you're everybody in the world is going to see you. Plus, you get a criminal record, and hence whatever else happens to you. So I applaud you, Alex. That was well put there. And like you said, and let me say this again. It's not everybody. There's plenty of people that come to those games and they're fans, and there's nothing wrong with just being fans. But when you go across the line where you're not a fan anymore and you want to do villainous things, that's a different story.
I just have to bring this out because I'm being honest. Look, Kyrie Irving is a diva. There's no doubt. There's no question. And most of this is about money. That's why I didn't say all. But do you notice the dichotomy of most of these instances? Okay, Russell Westbrook, fanning through the popcorn. Philadelphia. Philadelphia's got the worst fans. Okay, fine. I'm not saying it's okay, but that was number one. Mm-hmm. Trae Young, Garden, getting spit on. Now, last year during COVID, that guy would be facing a felony assault. Now, all of a sudden, since COVID's over, that's just mad disrespectful. But if Trae Young hauls off and punches that fool in his grill, now all of a sudden we're going to hear lawsuits for the next year or two. Number three, Utah. Mm-hmm. Ja Morant's family being assaulted and racially abused for being in Utah by a whole bunch of good old boys who feel the need. Now, would they say that to Ja's face? Probably if they had a gun. Would they say it to his face on the basketball court? Hell no. So they felt emboldened because they were around people who were similar to them. Let's fast forward again. After the first warning, the second warning, and the third warning, and people being banned, now you got some clown throwing a water bottle wearing a Kevin Garnett jersey. Well, Kevin Garnett must have switched things up and hang out with Sammy Sosa because he was awfully white. Yes, he was. And instead of thinking he was getting away with it, he got arrested. Went to court today. Oh, and did you see the fan that went on the court last night during the Washington Wizards and the 76ers game?
No.
Yeah, that happened last night. So basically, you have a lot of fans acting badly, and I believe it's vitriol. Now, they probably won't admit it, but they despise the fact that these quote-unquote uneducated, savage, unethical African-American men not only make more money, but take their women. So you have a lot of animosity and vitriol when it comes to the crowd who comes to be entertained. Now think about a year ago when we were starving for the NBA and NFL and some type of entertainment. And now that things are slightly you are away your freedom, throwing popcorn and water bottles at people that you can't stand. I love the dramatic irony.
Yes, definitely things have definitely changed now, and you're right. I think you and Stephen A. Smith, you come up with a lot of ideas that a lot of people don't come up with, and it's a shame that it only gets put out for the people that work for four-letter networks. But you said these issues years ago that people have a lot of animosity towards black athletes, any sport, because of things like that. Maybe they feel that African Americans take their women and they shouldn't do that, or they make more money than them for just dribbling a basketball. Hence why you hear, in my opinion, that's like a racial term where he says shut up and dribble and things like that. But it's you media that are the ones that's asking him the questions. If you really don't want to know what he thinks, then don't ask him. But anyway, I think it's a lot of built up issues. And again, it's not everybody. It's just certain people, when they're put in positions and they have the opportunity to, they feel that that's how they're going to express themselves. But I think you're spot on with all of those things, Alex, and I'm glad to see these things are changing here. And hopefully it can happen more and more with accountability and fans being held accountable for things like that. Because when you take it back, and I think I watched this earlier, don't know if you saw it, first person that comes to mind with these issues is Ron Artest. And look what happened with Ron Artest and all the things that he lost after that. And Ron Artest was open and talked about that. If you guys haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch the interview with Ron Artest talking about that, where people talked about he went to the wrong fan. It was the right fan when he found out, and it was a $50 bet that was made as well for things like that to happen. And ensuing of that, Ron Artest lost countless things, as long as took a real mark on his career, and he just lost a lot, especially money, over somebody being stupid at a basketball game.
I kind of miss the Malice in the Palace, because that was one of those times in the NBA where fans knew better. They feel emboldened now. But I don't want to tune out your viewers. Let's talk about some basketball. Something that makes us happy, not these clowns who are seeking attention.
Right. Well, go ahead. He said jump into that, and then we'll jump into the you want to talk about a little bit of playoff basketball, and then you can jump into Julio Jones and see where his destination is going to be, and listen to a phone call he had with Shannon Sharp. But
Okay, all right, let me get this out of the way then. Utah handled Memphis Grizzlies home court last night by taking a 3-1 lead. They go back to Utah and play Wednesday, hoping to close out the series. Just when you thought the Washington Wizards were done, they win last night against the Philadelphia 76ers. Embiid left the game injured. I expect him to play again on Thursday. Knee soreness. I expect him to play when they get back to Philly to finish this out and close this out and get ready for those Atlanta Hawks, who I believe played the New York Knickerbockers tonight for the last time. The Knicks don't look coordinated. Huh? They don't look coordinated. They look like a team that hasn't been in the playoffs for 8 years. They're not rushing the transition handle defense. The truth. They're not rushing the transition defense. They're not hitting wide open shots. Your best player is Derrick Rose, He's 32 years old. Julius Randle is going to the left. R.J. Barrett shouldn't have been the number 3 pick. Can you name somebody on the bench besides Obi Toppin and Thomas Gibson? I don't think so. They don't have enough contributors. And Trey Young, I mean, what's cooler than being cool? Ice cold. That
Cold.
that whole squad is young and hungry. Now, I expect the 76ers to handle the Hawks, but it will not be a sweep. These Hawks are going to be a problem in the future. I digress. Question: have you ever noticed that LeBron James struggles winning games without all the help that he gets?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, LeBron is on the on the later side of his 30s. He's been banged up all year long, but yes, he does struggle to carry the team, not like he used to, like back when he was with Cleveland and they ended up playing the Spurs in the NBA Finals where they got swept. But yes, I agree, he tends to struggle. But Schroeder and Montrezl Harrell and Andre Drummond and all those supporting cast members don't seem to be able to fit the bill when he can't perform to a high level.
Chris Paul has had this same stigma on him. Always a great player during the regular season, always seemed to vanish in the playoffs. When Houston was up on the Golden State Warriors 3-2 and Chris Paul went down with an injury, people were like, well, if he was healthy, you beat Golden State. Okay. When I believe it was the Hornets that Chris Paul was a part of, and they were up 3-2 against San Antonio, and then all of a sudden San Antonio came back. You see, Chris Paul has had a pattern of being a hell of a fighter, but not a finisher. Well, thank goodness that Anthony Davis is a split personality, because his other role is Mr. Glass. He can't seem to stay healthy.
To save his life.
And now that Mr. Glass is no longer with La Help is wondering, what am I going to do against this young, thoroughbred group of Booker, Paul, Ayton, and Bridges?
Don't forget Gordon.
Oh, yeah, let me not forget Gordon. Bro, real talk. I see Phoenix winning this series in 7.
Ooh, that's a good prediction right there. And it's very, very possible. Lakers are going to have to respond back, and they're going to have to respond back strong. And to touch on what you said about Chris Paul, every team that Chris Paul has ever touched has been successful. Yes, he's not really a finisher, but that's not really his role that he's ever been ever since leaving Wake Forest. He's been a guy who's a contributor, gets the offense moving, gets the most out of his players, and when he needs to, he scores. But he's never been that game finisher in games. And maybe this is the year that he has to do that. Maybe he has to change it up a little. Who knows? But I have to tend to ride with Chris Paul and knowing what his team needs best, because I can't argue with success and the winning percentages of these had on each organization that he's been a part, whether he's chosen to go there or he's been traded.
That's real talk. Bro, do you remember the song "My Name Is Luca"?
Oh, that series tied up now after that 2-0 lead, and then now it's tied up. Now suddenly the chatter has been real quiet.
He's trying to move off of the second floor. He lives downstairs from Kawhi. I guess he might have seen him before. Here's the problem. If you see a struggle late at night, some type of trouble, some type of a fight, just don't ask him where his crew went, because his crew's not helping him, bro. Kristaps Porzingis is a dollar store brand Robin. He's not going to be there for you when you need him. You can't rely on him. And, I mean, I believe Mr. Hardaway started hot in this series, and he's been hanging out with Matt Ryan because that ice has melted. He hasn't been hitting like he used to. On the other hand, Pandemic P, has turned back into PG-13, and Kawhi Leonard has just proven once again why they called him a cyborg. He can't be stopped. And there's nobody on that Dallas Mavericks roster who can stop him. Now, Luka's not going to get any of the blame because of the nerve damage in his neck. But this will be 6 out of 10 years Lakers will more than likely have to face the Phoenix Suns. Blessings in disguise when you don't even expect them.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely blessings in disguise. And it's going to be interesting to see how that series ends up now that it's tied up and all the animosity has been towards the Los Angeles Clippers and that team breaking up and things like that. And seeing where Kawhi Leonard, a lot of people are predicting him possibly to go with Pat Riley down to Miami after that whole debacle with Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero and all that stuff like that. There's a lot. Hence, there's something going on in that locker room that a lot of folks don't know what's going on, but NBA is going to be really shooken up, I think, in this offseason.
Question. Nuggets, Blazers. What do you believe is the key to that series besides somebody playing defense?
For you talking about overall, what's the key to victory, or for a particular team, or you just overall?
Overall.
Well, overall, I just have to say I have to go with 3-point shooting. Whoever has the highest percentage in 3-point shooting is going to win this series. I think the Nuggets have a pretty balanced game. I think everybody knows about Damian Lillard. He's going to be Damian Lillard. It's just, what does everybody else do? Dame will put up a great performance, and then his supporting cast doesn't really do too much for him in certain games, but when they do play together, they play well, but it's just really inconsistent with the Blazers getting a total team performance. I think that team hasn't been the same since DeMarcus Aldridge left that team. It kind of took a step back, and they kind of have been stagnant in a certain way that they play, even from regular season coming into postseason. But I think 3%, whoever who has a greater 3-point percentage in the games is going to win this series.
You see now, Blake, that's why you're my brother from another mother, because that's exactly what I was going to say. Damian Lillard and Nikola Jokic have put on a show. They have been highlight material. What hasn't been highlight material is how Yusuf Nurkic of the Portland Trailblazers has been getting worked from Nikola Jokic, or how bad the guard play due to the fact that they're missing Murray for the Denver Nuggets because nobody's stopping Dame Time. Dame Time's doing whatever the hell he wants to do. I think the key player in tonight's game is going to be CJ McCollum, because Melo's Melo. You know, you can't really what can you really expect out of him? You know, he's a Hall of Famer. He's legit, but he's not there for defense. He's there for offense. CJ McCollum, you can change the tide in this series, because the winner of Game 5, 70% of the time, wins the series.
Yep.
So, look for CJ McCollum to have a big night. Oh, and last but not least, the Heat got swept, and the Bucks are waiting, and basically for the Nets. Here's what's funny. The number 5 seed will more than likely go to the number 1 seed, unless, of course, there's some upset. There's not going to be an upset. The Nets are going to win the series against the Celtics. The Bucks already swept the Heat, and I'm pretty darn sure that the 76ers are going to beat the Washington Wizards. I'm pretty sure, almost sure.
You know, Doc Rivers.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know, sometimes Doc Rivers has a problem closing out series with his teams and his history, but you're right. Sixers should close this game out unless something crazy happens and the knee soreness is worse than predicted as Embiid came out. So keep an eye on that, sports fans, and see how that turns out.
Well, I just want to say Brody doesn't get swept. He had, let me get this right. I believe he had 19 points, 21 rebounds, 14 assists, and 2 steals last night. Okay, so all this hate towards Brody, y'all really, really, really need to shut up. He's special. Rui Hachimura is still a work in progress.
Rui
Hachimura, yes. And Davis Bertans is stealing money. He left the game last night with an injury. The game before that, he had 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 blocks, and 6 fouls. Bro, I would love to get paid his contract to do absolutely nothing.
And that's just the truth of it.
You can't handle the truth.
But enough about the NBA. I'm on your show, sir. Enough about the NBA.
Oh, well, we talk all sports here, and the NBA is what's going on right now, just along with the NHL and playoffs. But first and foremost, let's get in the sport that you and I both love, the NFL. Let me even change the scenery for this. And let's get into a phone call with Julio Jones and Shannon Sharp. Let's see how that turns out, shall we?
Man, nothing much. About to go meet up with my brother. What's happening with you?
Man, look, you want to go to the Cowboys, Julio? Or you want to stay in Atlanta?
Oh, man, nah, I'm out of there, man.
You out of there?
He's out of there.
Ideally, where would you like to go?
Right now, I want to win.
Okay.
Dallas.
Well, don't go to Dallas. If you go, you ain't winning in Dallas, Julio.
You already, man, listen, come on, man. You already know, I know.
Okay.
Can you remind him we're on television?
Ask
right
him why
now?
I wore the Dallas.
Listen. You know how people is, man, with all that going on with the picture.
Yeah.
And all that stuff like that.
Okay.
Man, I ain't never been on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's good enough. Yeah. Julio, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for calling me back. We on air, but I appreciate you calling me, dog.
Okay. Jenny Taft is saying, like, are you telling him we're on the air?
Go ahead, Alex. Jump in.
Okay, all right. Number one, people going at Uncle Shay Shay need to back up, because if you think Julio Jones didn't know that he was on air, I'm pretty damn sure Undisputed's been on the air for 7-8 years. He gave that man a call during that time slot. So get out your feelings. I'm pretty sure he knew he was being recorded. Number two, if by some chance he didn't know he was being recorded, I'm pretty sure he heard Skip Bayless or that lovely lady in the background saying something. So you know what? Watch your feelings. They might just get hurt. Now, Julio, the overachieving, underachieving wide receiver who's 32, aging, and is no longer a number one for the Atlanta Falcons. That's now Calvin Ridley. Number one, he's going to be a $23 million cap hit if he stays after today. Today is June 1st. June 2nd, he gets his money. So if there hasn't already been breaking news, because I don't watch TV, he's going to be traded by midnight tonight. Cinderella's going to lose their slipper. Now,
whoa, you can't just say that and then back off of that, Alex. You're saying tonight by midnight Julio Jones will be traded? I want to make sure I heard that correctly.
Bro, I'm a hardworking man, and it's the off season. For those who don't know, just because I write articles and write for a newspaper and host shows and create the carousel, whether it be NBA or NFL or writing content, I got 2 full-time jobs, a girlfriend, a mistress, and stuff I do on the side. I have no time to watch television. So unless there's already been something that went down and something that I'm missing, he's going to be traded by midnight tonight. Cinderella is going to lose her slipper.
Well, you heard it therefore, and that's just the truth right there.
You can't handle the truth.
You heard it right there. So now, where do you predict him going?
All right. Now, the Atlanta Falcons isn't a smart organization, but I do respect Arthur Blank. He does hire minorities and try to help out people who can't help themselves. You know what Atlanta needs more than skinny jeans? Corners. They need corners, bro. Atlanta gets burnt more times than a prostitute with gonorrhea. They get burnt a lot. They can't cover anybody deep, and they have problems stopping the run. I mean, bro, how many games did they lose last year off of just ignorant, stupid, and callous plays? Bro, number one, Dallas.
Oh God, the onside kick.
Onside kick, like that's whoa. That's Black Rob, whoa. Number two, Detroit. Don't score a touchdown, kill the clock, you win the game. You score a touchdown, in essence, giving the ball back to Detroit to where they could steal a game by scoring a touchdown and getting 2 more points than you. That's just stupid. San Francisco. Some way, somehow, your piss poor defense is holding a hurt San Francisco squad. And then your kicker, who's been money all year, misses a field goal.
Misses a field goal.
Yep. I mean, I just, what do I know? It's not like I'm some football professor or anything. I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, I talk about the Atlanta Falcons because a good friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, by the name of Daryl Orlando Ledbetter, who happens to work for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, who does the Bowtie Chronicles, by the way, covers the team. He even broke down some of the weaknesses of the Atlanta Falcons, and it's on the offensive line. It's damn sure on the defensive line. Their linebacking core past Deion Jones is nothing to be scared of, and A.J. Terrell probably couldn't cover you or me. So, I digress. They need a corner. So
I thought it was.
Go ahead.
I thought it was the strange picking A.J. Terrell at the 16th pick in the 2020 draft. After watching, he couldn't cover number one receivers, Justin Jefferson, and Chase and wide receiver Jamar Chase coming in at the bowl game, and then you want to play pro level wide receivers on a level, and you just played 2 of them and couldn't keep up with them. I thought that was a strange pick by the Atlanta Falcons, but you're absolutely right. As far as secondary, you lose KZ, you lose Keanu O'Neal. They go to Dallas with Bradley and try to turn their own Legion of Boom. But yeah, that's a problem Atlanta's had is the secondary, and they haven't really addressed that, especially with True Font, their oldest veteran, leaving and going to Detroit. Ironically, how you mentioned that earlier, they got issues, and they need to find some, if not picks for Julio Jones, they need to find some key pieces in that secondary. Because I put out on Twitter today that don't be surprised if you see Julio Jones go for less than a first-round pick, being that his contract is so monstrous.
I'm not a betting man because I'm not allowed to gamble, and you know why I'm not. Because if I could, I'd probably make myself some money. But if I was a betting man, I'm not trading him anywhere inside of the conference. I'm going to trade his ass to the AFC. So I only have to deal with him once every 4 years, if he's got 4 years left in his career.
Correct.
B, get him out of the South, because every 2 to 3 years you deal with the South opponent, because NFC South, AFC South, so on division-wise, that's every 3 to 4 years instead of every 4. So you're not going anywhere in the AFC South. I won't trade you to Jacksonville because I'm not going to get a return on my investment. Houston, no. You're an ATL legend. Even I won't take you to Houston. Tennessee, what do you really have to offer? If you're not going to give me a first-round pick, we can't talk. And there's no way, shape, and form I'm going to give you guys to Indianapolis. Hell to the no.
Would you entertain Barrett, their safety, for Julio Jones?
Nope, because trading Julio to Indianapolis automatically makes them a Super Bowl contender. That would put them over the top in what they need to beat KC. Now, I'm not sending you to Indianapolis, but you know who I would send you to? The Baltimore Ravens. And I will give up Marcus Peters and a second-round pick to acquire you. Why? I believe I drafted some guy named Benjamin Richardson out of SMU in the 4th round, and Sean Wade out of Ohio State in the 5th round, while maintaining Jimmy Smith and Marlon Humphrey. I can give you Marcus Peters. He can eat some lemon pepper wings at Magic City on Mondays after they lose on Sundays, because I don't believe ATL has any primetime games. It fixes your corner issues.
Well, every team
and it
gets
saves you money on the cap.
Every team gets a primetime game. Yeah.
Yes. Even Detroit. Detroit.
Detroit.
You get that second-round pick. I save you money on your cap, and I give you a corner to help out A.J. Terrell. And instead of losing 10 games, you might only lose 8. You might actually be half-ass decent. I mean, you and I both know that's not going to happen. But
and it's funny you mentioned that. I don't want to cut you off. I just want to jump into it before we get sidetracked. Trading for AJ Terrell would save them cap, and the reason why, for those who are watching, is that AJ Terrell, Marcus Peters, is that his base salary is $4.4 million with a $2 million sign bonus, which bumps it up to $6 million. Then you got your restructure at $3.5 million, and then his total cap hit will be just under $10 million. But he has a dead cap of $15 million, and I believe Julio Jones' dead cap is $9 million, if I'm not mistaken, 9 or 7 or somewhere around there. So Atlanta would be taking, saving some cap space there that they need to rebuild their team, and then hopefully eventually getting Matt Ryan off their books, which is taking up almost in the plus side of $30 million. But go ahead, Alex.
I've always said if you're going to get rid of Julio Jones, you might as well get rid of Matt Ryan because that ice has melted. However, you send Julio Jones to Baltimore. Not only do you allow a veteran mentor to teach Rashawn Bateman how to be a number one, you give isolated looks to Hollywood Brown.
Finally.
Absolutely. And the second best tight end in football, not Darren Waller, Mark Andrews, now only has to deal with outside linebackers. With that running game you have in Baltimore, because you have to respect El Freaky's legs, that's Super Bowl or bust.
And with that young running back in the backfield, which
Mr.
I might
Dobbins, J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, which I might get on the show later on. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll see if you can get around for that one. That should be an interesting conversation talking about him in Baltimore. But I digress. Yes, that Baltimore needs offense, and Hollywood Brown needs help because he is severely underused, and Snead is not exactly going to draw much attention.
Rashawn Bateman is a monster receiver out of Minnesota. Let's take it back in time 2 years when they had Ty Johnson, that's now a Tampa Bay Buck, and Rashawn Bateman. Do you remember the numbers they were putting up in Minnesota? Those Golden Gophers were flourishing. Now, fast forward to the COVID year, where they only get to play 6 or 7 games in the Big Ten. Ty Johnson is used sparingly, but he gets a Super Bowl ring. It's now 2021. Rashawn Bateman is a Baltimore Raven. Johnson is going to be acclimated inside a Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense that does not need him. Wallace, Baltimore, slot, easy looks. Justice Hill, more snaps. Mark Ingram's gone. He's now in Houston. J.K. Dobbins, number 1 feature back. No competition. El Freaky, 3,500 plus yards passing. People keep calling this man a running back, yet he's a Heisman Trophy winner and a 2020 MVP. I think it's time to leave this man alone and give him the respect that he so proudly has earned and deserves.
Yes, he did.
Yes, imagine Julio becoming a Falcon to a Raven. To quote, losing, nevermore.
Quote that Raven, losing, nevermore. Well said, Alan. I like that, how you entered even Edgar Allan Poe into NFL. Look at that, how you do that so beautifully, like a maestro in an opera. But
I can't blush.
So, what'd you say? Say it again, Alex.
I'm flattered.
There's no need to be flattered, Alex, because you're the flamethrower. You're always bringing out new hot topics and ideas out here that we didn't even think about it. And it's crazy how talking about Julio Jones and moving him affects all these other intangible pieces out there in the Ravens out in Baltimore. And I agree with you that they maybe need to move Marcus Peters over there as Atlanta needs secondary bad. They wouldn't have to give up a whole lot of draft collateral. And that's definitely something that they need because Julio is very physical and he can block and teach these younger receivers, because that's definitely, they need some veteran leadership on that Baltimore wide receiving core, because right now you're looking at your leadership being the greatness of Sammy Watkins and Snead that played with New Orleans. I always forget his first name, but Snead that they overpaid to come play in Baltimore because he couldn't get it.
Willie Snead.
Willie Snead. Yeah, Willie Snead overpaid to get him there because you can't get any veterans to come there because they know they're not going to get a lot of pass catches. And I told my buddy that's a Ravens fan that the first train, Hollywood Brown, is going to be out of there because he's going to demand more passes. So if you get some type of continuity going, better aerial assault offense, I don't expect Hollywood Brown staying there after his 5 years in Baltimore. So I mean, we'll worry about that at a later time. So you really believe that Julio Jones is going to go to Baltimore? Is that like your final thing that you think where he's going to go?
Well, Seattle doesn't make sense. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are more than enough offense for Russell. Offense hasn't been the issue in Seattle. It's been that damn defense. You're in the NFC West. Not to say that you couldn't use another bullet in the chamber, but I'd rather have an enforcer linebacker or a pass rushing end than Julio Jones in the Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to deal with the likes of DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green, Chase Edmonds, and James Conner, not to mention Kyler Murray and maybe a returning Larry Fitzgerald in Arizona. You're going to have to deal with a returning, healthy Mostert, Jimmy Garoppolo, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and the San Francisco Treat defense. Oh, and
don't forget the offensive line.
Yeah, in the offensive line with Trent Williams and the cat that they got from Notre Dame and all these other people. Oh, and Telefunga, the USC safety. I like him. He's a good pick. Whenever you pick up a Samoan, you're picking up a defender. Oh,
Yep.
But have I mentioned the Resistance? They found a friend for Aaron Donald, so he's not double teamed all the damn time. Get to know the name Bobby Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Texas A&M standout, and he's going to make life difficult for defenders because he's going to be a handful. And next to Aaron Donald, I can see Bobby Brown having double-digit sacks his rookie year. But I'm not the one to gossip, so you didn't hear it from me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, Bobby Brown. I think he's been on a couple interviews and stuff like that. Camp, they've checked him out, with him being kind of starstruck that he's listening to Aaron Donald, down there doing defense alignments and stuff like that. But he's definitely a sponge right now, learning from the greatness of Aaron Donald. I remember when Aaron Donald came out of the draft in Pittsburgh, a lot of people thought I was crazy when I mentioned him. I said, this guy right here is monster. I said, the way he gets off the ball is going to be a problem. And lo and behold, he didn't make me a liar. And Aaron Donald is become nothing less than a superstar and an X factor for that Rams defense.
Sir, Mr. Anthony, you know how I am about my numbers because my days in fantasy and flavors. Shout out to Paul Hollywood Edwards. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't without you. I know you're still shining on me. But he always told me, don't start with the big dogs. Look in the paint. You make your bread and butter in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds of every draft. Guys, I have a man crush on Jacob Harris. 6'4", 5 tight end wide receiver out of UCF. He's a local prodigy, but out there in LA, I think he could steal a lot of playing time from Tyler Higbee. And that's another weapon from Matthew Stafford. Now, when I interviewed him, he told me that don't think that I can't burn you because he loves going over the top. And with his size, not only can he be an excellent blocker, but his range and motion is going to be a mismatch for most corners trying to cover him, his size. And he's faster than most linebackers he's going to face. Look for Jacob Harris to be an issue.
Yeah, and he's not the only one that was a draft steal. Jacob Harris, if you don't know who he is, he came out of UCF, I believe. I'm not mistaken. It was UCF, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, UCF, and another pickup that they got, and a guy that's his agent is very close to me, and I know him. You've seen him on the show before, and Ron Butler. Ernest Jones was a 3rd-round draft pick linebacker out of South Carolina, a guy that was very underrated, and he is now part of that Rams defense as well. So the Rams have definitely made some interesting selections, and we'll see how it pans out with these later years. As Alex just said, you make your bread and butter with these later rounds, 3rd, 4th, and 5th-round picks, and those guys were the 3rd and 4th-round picks.
I truly do believe that the only threat to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going back to back is those damn Los Angeles Rams.
They struggle with them, yes.
Let's take a look at the NFC East. I mean, really? Really? Did Washington get a quarterback? I didn't
No,
think so.
Ron Rivera is clearly trying to rebuild Carolina because what was their first pick in this 2020 draft?
It was a linebacker, John Davis.
Linebacker's trying to rebuild what he had in Carolina. He already had the defensive front, didn't have to do that. Ron Rivera is a very smart coach. He didn't have to worry about his defensive line. It was already built for him. Thank you. Now I got to do is pick my key guy in the middle that can lead this pack and line these guys up and make plays, because the front you don't have to worry about. They're going to get pressure. You don't have to blitz. Now you guys get these DBs to put their hands on people and have this middle linebacker call out plays and line the defense up. Ron's building his defense first and going to run the ball. He's going to get his quarterback later on and build his offensive line, because the offensive line is pretty much in shambles. But Ron Rivera is going to get that team right, and he's going to have to lean on his offensive coaches and things like that and his GM. But I think the Washington football team will be great, I think, a year or two.
Yes. I do feel sorry for Terry McLaurin with the Swiss Army knife. Antonio Gibson, he is fantasy money. I'm not saying but yeah, that's what it took for me to ways with Antonio Gibson. But I digress. Nobody from the NFC East is a threat to Tampa. NFC North, I'm not talking about Detroit. We don't need to talk about Minnesota. And Chicago's not ready for that smoke. Do you think Green Bay's done anything to make themselves better or in a better position to deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
No.
Okay. So here we go. Back to the West, because do we need to take a look at the South? The Falcons. Carolina, not yet. Not yet. I see Carolina. I see them. They're like the little brother. Their time's coming. It's not now, but it's coming. And as far as the Saints are concerned, you lost half your defense. You lost your leading sack totaler. You lost Drew Brees. And Jameis Winston, for some odd reason, doesn't scare the Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization. The Saints are going to take a step back. Not the basement. That's reserved for the ATL and their skinny jeans. But the Saints are going to take a step back.
So you're saying possibly second in the division?
You know what? I've been called crazy before. I'm going to say the Saints finished third in the division behind the Carolina Panthers.
That rule was brought there, and if you didn't see the interview here, I interviewed a new linebacker, going to try to change that defense. Denzel Perryman, talk about trying to be the new regime in Carolina, and Matt Rule is known for building building teams. I can't say franchise because he was at college, the college level coming to the pros, but that's why he was brought there in team building. And just like Alex said, I think little brother Carolina is going to keep building their team. They brought over Sam Darnold, exit Teddy Bridgewater. So they're going in a new direction here, and they're trying to find guys that fit their system out there. And we'll see. The jury's still out on Matt Rule and see what he does with this franchise.
Do you remember the Green Hornet with Kato?
You talking about the movie, The Green Hornet?
Yeah, Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Oh, no, dynamic duos. Green Hornet and Kato, Batman and Robin. Starsky and Hutch, Tango and Cash. They picked up Jeremy Chin. He plays safety and linebacker.
Dog.
They didn't have an enforcing, exactly, but they didn't have an enforcing cornerback. Somebody who's going to take away your number one option. To say, you know what, forget about him. J.C. Horn, he's a Black Mamba type player. He's going to take away your Michael Thomas. He's going to take away your Calvin Ridley. He's going to take away your Mike Evans and make you find another way to beat the team. Blake, mark my words. In 2 years, the Carolina Panthers are going to be a problem.
I believe it, especially with that pick of J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn, the son of Joe Horn, a guy who played at one of my old high schools. I've met Joe Horn when I was young and 15 years old, playing in the high school playoff game. So J.C. Horn, big corner, big physical corner. And it's going to look to try to change the culture out there in Carolina, along with Brown and Gross Matos and Brian Burns on the defensive line. So they definitely have some pieces there, along with Denzel Perryman and Shaq Thompson and those guys out there, and Jeremy Chin. They've definitely got the staff there to change that defense. As far as defensive players, they just have to put it all together, and these guys have the communication and to change that defense and that culture in Carolina.
If you were curious, like let's say I was a psychic, because I'm not, but let's say I was, and you can ask me anything NFL related, what would you ask me?
Anything NFL related?
Anything.
Is Deshaun Watson going to be suspended this season?
I don't believe so. I believe that the holes in Busby's case has started to crack and show,
it's lost fire. It's lost fire.
It's lost a lot of fire.
Lost fire.
Yeah, the thrill is gone, as B.B. King would say. But the issue is he going to end up on the commissioner's exempt list because he's made the NFL look bad due to the fact that he happens to be a Christian nympho? Now, if he was white, that might be okay, but he's a black male in America. Maybe somebody might have felt a little bit kind of way for trying to show Mr. Hanky. I digress. I believe he sits out or chooses not to play for Houston, therefore making sure that A, they don't have to pay him that contract, B, Houston gets the number 1 pick, and C, he's free to go wherever he wants to go. Everybody's happy. NFL saves money and face. Deshaun Watson gets to sit out a year and gets to start his new career scot-free.
We all know where he's going. Atlanta.
Home. No comment. I see that being home, but Matt Ryan has 1, maybe 2 years left. And if you could get rid of Matt Ryan for Deshaun Watson, I mean, hell, wouldn't you do it?
We'll see. Like you said, we're playing what ifs. We're playing what ifs right now. And the best thing for Deshaun Watson with that whole massage cases and all that is that it happened early. So by the time the season comes up, it's already dead and buried, because it's almost dead and buried right now, especially when the case got into details, when the females' names came out, where the issues came from. When all that came out, everything kind of fizzled out when their names got released. So it's like you just said earlier, the flame kind of fizzled out on that, but we'll see how it plays out. It's still really early.
Hey, I just want to say this. If Deshaun Watson was smart, he'd have gave Robert Kraft a call. They would have visited Orcas of Asia, and they would have done this right.
Oh, Lord of mercy. Here you go, coming with that flamethrower. Spitting nothing but the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
Because it's messy handling the truth. Alex, we can get out of here. It's been an hour, been a pleasure. We're going to do this again. Also, we didn't touch into it, but Tampa Bay Lightning played tomorrow at, today, 7:30 p.m. Against Carolina. Tampa Bay Lightning is up 1-0 in the series. Tampa Bay Rays won 16 out of 17, beating the Yankees 2-1. They've owned the Yankees, so make sure to keep your eye on Champa Bay sports right now, as Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be coming up here in September and seeing how they defend their Super Bowl championship. Alex Fleming, plug in everybody where they can find your work, what you got going on, and all that great stuff, where they can find you this season.
I was supposed to be taking some time off, but they keep pulling me back in. Florida Sun. Central Florida's oldest black living newspaper. I'm going to have to get with you because I like this NSPN network. I got an idea on a brand new show, something I couldn't have done with the Bucks Report. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that? Yeah, that was an accident. Skull King Sports with Ryan Skullroot and Scott Morganroth. Once the season starts back up, we're going to be doing things on Thursday night. Did you say Thursday night? That's the NFL Carousel. Copywritten, so don't copy me. I take people from across the country, actually international, with Daniel Piquergo, and we talk about the NFL, what's moving and shaking, and we even got debates. NBA Carousel currently happening on a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter near you, in coordination with JB Ellis and Megan Price, who is also the host of The Sip Off, the Sports Arena, Monday night. I believe next Monday we finished with the NFC South. Still got love for the Truth Serum. They're even doing Truth Serum outdoors. Outdoor memorabilia, tents, knives, all this good stuff. I'm trying to tell you, it's lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, and if you ever want to catch some of my articles, if I'm not writing for the Florida Sun or the Buffalo Bills or the Miami Dolphins, check out a footballworld.com. It's a football world. We just live in it. You know, sooner or later, before the season starts, and I'm in the press box covering Trevor Lawrence and James Robinson and Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer, the Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe, just maybe, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will let me in and we could talk some Tampa Bay football.
Absolutely. We all look forward to that. We were just talking about that off here. Getting down there, checking out camp. I definitely got to get plugged in with these guys. Like I said, I've been off. Like I said on my last show, I've been away for a little bit dealing with my other job stuff and all that stuff. So now getting back focused in to NFL here, coming up with the NHL and NBA playoffs and all that stuff. You're going to see our faces and voices here a lot more. Alex, I appreciate you jumping on, and we're gonna jump out here and we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you, guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons.
It's Tampa Bay Bucks Super Bowl 55 Champ Shaq Bird coming at you live for NSPN NexGen Sports. Go like and follow NSPN for total coverage of all team and combat sports, live shows, plus exclusive player interviews and unprecedented sports content creation.